Okay, it's 6:30. We'll open this council meeting. I want to welcome everybody here. We'll start with a Pledge of Allegiance led by Chief John Harris.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. Approval of the minutes. We have 6.2.1 council meeting of June 5th and council meeting of June 12th minutes. I'll take them both at once if there's no objection.
I would move approval of the minutes for June 5th and June 12th, 2018.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have a special recognition. Murray City Council Employee of the Month, Becky Sanborn. Office Administrator, Recreation Division, Brent Hales and Kim Sorensen presenting.
Come on up, Becky. Come on up, Kim. Kim loves being in the limelight. Come on up, Kim. Loves that. Hi, Becky.
Hello.
Now, this says 2 years. You've worked in the city longer than that.
Yeah, a total of 8.
Okay, because
8 to 9.
we're seasonal. Okay. All right, so this is a program we started about 6 years ago. Employee of the Month, the council wanted to recognize. We have phenomenal employees, and the directors or supervisors nominate an employee, and Kim Sorensen nominated Becky. So Becky is the Employee of the Month, and just we as a council want to give our appreciation to you for all you do. And Kim speaks very highly of you. Doug has also speaks highly of you, and we're going to put your name on a plaque there. It's going to be there for the next 100 years. And this building won't, but that plaque will. And but anyway, so here's the certificate for you, Becky. And then on the back, more important, I think, is a $50 gift card in there. And don't take Kim to lunch or anything else. That's for you. So, and then here's a certificate that we have signed by the council, and just want to show our appreciation for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Council and Doug, Mayor's Office, we appreciate the opportunity we have to recognize one of Murray's great employees. And just to give you a little bit of an idea, Becky is a wonderful person and a great employee. Her job requires that she works with 3 different divisions. She works with the Parks Division, the Recreation Division, and the Cultural Arts Division in the Parks Office. So you can imagine she is pulled in different directions every day. She's also the first person that citizens or customers will see as they walk into the park office. She's usually the first person that they get if they call into the office. So her job requires that she knows all of the divisions and works with all of them as a way of showing how she is felt with them. Each of the division directors are here tonight, and I know they think a lot of Becky. Becky, you could say, is the glue that holds the office together, and she is a great employee. And I'll give Becky, I know that Becky's been talking all day about having the opportunity to talk tonight, so we'll give her a moment to introduce her family and say whatever she wants.
I just want to thank the opportunity to have this award. It does come kind of very surprising, really, honestly. It sounds cliche, but I've had the opportunity to work in the city in different levels through the Parks Center, through our main office in the Parks Department, as well as the Senior Center, the Heritage Center. And it has really instilled in me just a better appreciation for Murray City. I grew up in Murray City, but then to see, the cog and the wheel go, throughout the day, it has been extremely beneficial to our family, even having full-time status. Now my son is employed by the Parks Department as well, as seasonal. It's been extremely beneficial for him as well. So I just, it sounds very cliche, but I'm very thankful. Murray City is is very strong in many different areas. I extremely enjoy working with the Parks Department, Recreation Department. I have been able to get to know a lot of people, and it's been very valuable in helping shape me be better at my job, learning more skills, and again, just taking that home to my family. So I'm very appreciative of that. And my husband is here. So Jim, thanks. He's quiet. But I just want to thank Kim. He's done a great job too. He's moved up, and Bruce is here, and Corey. They really do help keep me on task, and also are very good at showing that they're very appreciative of what's done in the office. So I just appreciate this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Becky. I want to deviate from the schedule just a little bit for two reasons. One, to watch the look on Jan's face when I say that. And the second, to have Chief Rodriguez come in, and he's trying to hide in the back. But I just want to tell him how much we appreciate him and the service he's been to Murray City. And look at that retired grin on his face. Thank you, Chief. Okay, the next on the agenda is swearing in of Jonathan Harris as Murray Fire Chief. Mayor Camp and Jennifer Kennedy are presenting. It'll be Doug Hill, I believe.
I, John Harris, do solemnly swear to support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah, and perform the duties of my office as the Murray City Fire Chief with fidelity. Thank you. Well, I'd now like to introduce my mom to do the pinning of the badge. Nice job. Okay, as always, I'll say a few words, but I'll try to be brief. Well, first of all, I want to extend my thanks to the mayor, mayor's staff, city council, and Gil back there for his recommendation for this appointment. I think what I'd like to start off with is a little walk down memory lane, a little story. Back in 1994, a young man, you got to use your imagination, full head of hair, came here to interview for the position of firefighter. Interviewed right over at the fire station on Caldwell, finished my interview, walked over to the 7-Eleven on 48th and State, picked up the payphone. I don't think my kids know what that is, but picked up the payphone, promptly called my father and told him I blew it. Blew it, drove back to Colorado with my tail between my legs. And I don't know, I guess there's a moral there, but apparently you don't know what life has in store for you. So I guess that worked out all right. You know, so I packed up, I moved to Murray with no family whatsoever. And really the fire department and the city, in addition to becoming my good friends, really became my family. You know, I've had a career really blessed with just working alongside some truly dedicated individuals with some great devotion and compassion for the job. You know, I'm just continually impressed with the people I work with, and that really have guided me through this whole trip of my career. both as peer, subordinate, supervisor, everything. Been very lucky. So in summary, I accept this position with humility and really an understanding that it's an honor to be in this position to serve the community. And I look so forward to continuing to work with these dedicated firefighters and the city employees that I've really come to know as family. So thank you. Are you good if I continue with the swearing in?
Very good. Go ahead.
Okay. We actually have quite a bit to do tonight, which we can kind of see with the crowds. I'm going to start off with Joseph Bernard Middleman, who we know as Joey. Actually, Joseph Bernard Middleman II. Can you come forward? Come on up. Come right here, buddy. All right, so Joey is going to be working with us as a battalion chief. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Well, first of all, he's a paramedic. He has a master's degree in education. But, you know, one of the interesting things about Joey, we'll talk about, I didn't tell you I was going to say this, but is really to talk about his work ethic. And this is a guy who just does not let the grass grow under his feet. So if you were to ask Joey what his favorite place in the world would be, I think it'll be on Lake Powell with his family. And a couple years ago, I was lucky enough to attend him on one of those trips. All right, now I'm an early riser. I get up with the sun. Okay, and I want you to imagine this. I get up with the sun early, like, 6:30, Lake Powell, beautiful day. Joey's already been up. He's already taken all the gas cans into town to fill up and get fuel. I think you changed the fuel pump on the motor, on the alternator, and he's already made breakfast for everybody, okay? Yes. He's this little Energizer bunny, and we're so excited to have him on the department. Now, I know Joey looks 20 years old, but he actually was 20 when we hired him many years ago. And an interesting story is we had a call at, well, lack of better terms, a bar. And they ID'd Jody. He couldn't come in on the call. So, kind of funny. But anyways, Joey, we're looking forward to so much with you working with us. You're going to be over emergency management and fire prevention and helping out a lot with public education. And we just couldn't be more honored to have you with us.
Well, you could if you wanted to. You are as pretty as my wife. My dear wife, here.
Raise your hand. I state your name.
I, Joseph Bernard Middleman II,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support, obey, and defend
to support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and perform the duties of my office
and perform the duties of my office
as a Murray City Battalion Chief with fidelity.
He just said introduce my family. The problem is yeah. So all right, let's just have my family stand up real quickly while they're standing. My wife Kira, and then my mom and dad are in the back. It's the reddened hair. It's turning a little bit blonder, is what we call it. And then my mom Margaret, and then my sister and my daughter is the redhead. She's the soon-to-be college kid up at the U. And then my kids are Allie, Joe, Daphne, Lincoln, and Miles, also with Maddie. So, and my grandma, Miriam, is back there also, and then my father-in-law, Kurt. So, and I think I maybe got, if I missed you, I'm sorry. Oh, my mother-in-law, Pat, as well. So, like I said, you're all just blending into one. I do love you all, though. So, yeah.
All right, Joey forgot one family member. I forgot them all. Could I have my family please stand up? Real quick. People traveled many miles to be here, so very gracious. My mother, who you already met, my father, Russell, my kids, Tanner and Cade, my wife behind, Amy, and she has her sister, Carol, and her husband, Carter. So thank you very much for coming today and sharing this with me. Okay, moving right along. Our next promotions, we have 2 captains to promote. I'm going to call them up one at a time and introduce them. First, Josh Schultz. Is that for me? Thank you. All right, Ben, kneel down. Okay, so Josh started with us in 2006, but has over 20 years experience in the fire service. Started out in Utah County fighting wildland fires, put himself through paramedic school in 2001, which in case you don't know is a very big deal. I kind of asked him what he did in his spare time, and his kids are just so big into sports, that's pretty much all he does, just take them to game back and forth. But some interesting things about Josh is he's one of our bigger supporters for community events and charity events. And maybe a little plug for you. He has a side business that installs Christmas lights on people's homes. And there's actually a purpose to that. But he actually has, we had a firefighter injured. He actually took the time to go out to that person's house and install lights for him. So really a wonderful man. But one interesting thing I asked, it's funny to hear how people got into the fire service, how they started. And how Josh started was through his wife, Brittany, who actually did an internship with Orem. Is that right? With Orem Fire Department, and came home and said, these guys just love their job. It's a great work. You should go apply. And here we are almost 20 years later. And there's probably a moral there too, I guess, to listen to your spouse, I guess maybe is something there. So congratulations, Josh. I'm gonna have you sit here and stay right here. Don't go anywhere. And I'm gonna bring our other captain up, and then we'll swear you in together. Steve Ellison. And after you're sworn in, you'll have a chance to speak and bring your family up. Okay. And talk about how inspired you are by me. So, okay. All right, so Steve's been on with us for 17 years. Serves as our local local 4821 vice president. Worked for the United States Forest Service, National Fire Academy Managing Officers Program, bachelor's degree. Your last one, you got a couple. Your last one was in emergency management, right? Also very big in charity. Him and his wife, Crystal, have done the Sub for Santa program every year. Enjoys reading, fly fishing, camping. I feel like we're on like the dating game show or something. I'm trying to sell them to you guys. But let me tell you a little about Steve, though. And this happened last month, and I think this really displays his character. Is I showed up at the fire station, I think it was either a Saturday or Sunday on the weekend to go pick up something I left. And there's a guy out in full gear, out in the rain, doing hose drills. And I assumed it was one of our cadets. And I walk out, it's Steve, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I just wanted to practice and just get this down pat. And that's the level of dedication he has, always to be working in every detail. And I know we're going to see more of that, and we're just honored to have you with us. Thanks.
I state your name.
I, Steve Ellison,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and perform the duties of my office
as a Murray City Fire Captain
as a Murray City Fire Captain
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
more family here than I thought I was going to have. Got my sister and her husband, Tyler, and their daughter, Olivia, sitting against the wall over there. My dad, he's the one that pinned my shirt, and my mom sitting next to him. Ryder, stand up. That's my son. He's the one that's always at the baseball field when he's not broken. And then my wife, Brittany, and her parents, Bob and Mylene, sit next to her. And my daughter's at soccer camp, so she's not here.
All right, real quick. My wife, Crystal, who pinned my badge. Or not. My parents are here. My mom, Maureen, or Red. They're in the back. My dad, John, or JW. Thank you.
Okay, so if there is a best job as a fire chief, it is offering the job to new firefighters. And so the next people I'm going to bring up, and I'll do the same thing one at a time, are people who you cannot get their smile off their face. They're so excited. So let's start with Brandon Bates. Okay, so Brandon here, we actually met Brandon while he was doing his ride-alongs for paramedic school. He did some ride-alongs at the Murray Fire Department, and the crews loved him, and we were so pleased when he did well and scored high on our tests that we were able to pick him up. He is the youngest of our new hires. You can probably tell. I think he actually just got out of the womb a couple weeks ago. But you know, I think one of the things that I really like about Brandon is just a very adventuresome spirit. You know, he actually is not from Utah. He graduated high school in California and actually seeking fame, fortune, adventure. Came right out to Utah, and he's working on his bachelor's in emergency services. His history, he's been volunteer EMT, wildland fire, and has been working with the Springville Fire and Rescue. So, and again, for the dating game thing, his hobbies include rock climbing and snowboarding. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, hang out here for me. All right, next we have Dina Luella Walker. Am I saying that right? Yes. Okay, come on up. So, you know, our interview board was just blown away with the enthusiasm of this person. And, you know, to give an idea, the firefighters, it's kind of a pretty tight family. And so when someone interviews, we'll call around to other fire departments that know them and ask what they think about them. And this one stuck with me, and I can't quote the person directly because of the position I'm in. But what they said is, and I'll kind of change it a little bit, is you'd be a real donkey's butt if you don't hire her. And I don't think I heard something that direct, so I knew we had to pick her up. She was born in Utah, but she's lived in Boston, Maryland, and Italy as well. Her dad was with the United States Secret Service and got her interested in criminal justice and serving the community. Team captain in lacrosse, also a lifeguard. She's been a part-time EMT firefighter for the last 2 years, loves the outdoors, hiking, biking, wakeboarding, and skiing, and loves music and art. So, welcome, Dina. Okay, next we have Stephen Greenwell. Come on up. Okay, Stephen was born in what used to be Cottonwood Hospital. They tore that down, but Stephen, right after high school, signed right up with the Marine Corps, which I am just so impressed by. And you know, it's so great to be able to work with a veteran. And I think about like my accomplishments, like, you know, I went for a bike ride last week. Well, let me tell you his, okay? Nuclear Recapture Tactics Team Platoon. First Marines completing his first combat deployment to Afghanistan as a 60 millimeter Mortarman section leader, primary combat marksman instructor, 2nd Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion as an 81 millimeter Mortarman section leader. This is tough. Platoon sergeant, where he completed his second combat deployment as part of the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit. So right there, come on. That's impressive. Impressive. Yeah. So 9 years in the Marine Corps. As soon as he left, started going full-time to school. He's working on his Bachelor of Science, Emergency Management, his Associates in Applied Science and Firefighting. I mean, he's just hitting it, running. Like everyone else, loves the outdoors, but he also adds shooting firearms, reloading ammunition, and golfing as well. And I think his real claim to fame, though, other than the military, is he has a 9-year-old sister who was recently crowned the 2018 International Junior Miss Beehive State Princess. All right, so we'll have the three of you move forward for your swearing in.
I, Brandon Bates, do solemnly swear to support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah, and perform the duties of my office as a Murray City paramedic firefighter with fidelity.
I, Stephen Walker, do solemnly swear to support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah, and perform the duties of my office as a Murray City firefighter with fidelity.
Okay, can those come forward that are going to pin the badges on them? Actually, not going anywhere yet. Brandon, do you want to start off and say who came through today?
Yeah. I would just like to introduce my grandma Rose, my aunt Colby, and my sister Kaylee.
Public speaking, not my thing, so I'll make this quick. I'm here with my dad, Nico, my baby sister, Phoebe, my mom, Michelle, and my stepdad, Cecil. I have a couple friends over here, my good friend over here and her son, who I consider as my own son. I have the Minchow family back there, who's been a family to me for a long time. And am I missing anyone? Don't want to be in trouble. That's it, thank you.
All right, I'm the same way. I hate public speaking. My wife, Casey. I'm just going to go down the row. My wife, Casey, my grandfather, Thomas, my stepmother, Bridget, and everybody met Brooklyn, the legitimate princess, and my oldest son, Landon. Back in the doorway here, we have my youngest brother, Brandon, my Aunt Cheryl, my cousin, my dad, and my youngest son are out there so the baby doesn't scream. That's it. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for bearing with us. I know that was quite a few people, but we're very excited. So maybe one last round of applause for everybody. That'd be good.
Thank you, Chief. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. Welcome to Murray. Our next is citizen comments. Comments are limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise approved by the council. And if you come up to speak, if anybody's left, Please get a form from Jan and fill it out. Thank you. I thought they came to hear me.
Yeah. Yeah. I really thought some people were here for other things.
That's the first time I've ever seen that. They literally emptied the chambers. That's a reporter right there.
Yeah.
These just scouts, yes, maybe there was some kind of problem with those kids. Hard to say. Huh?
Hard to say.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's some kind of a project. That's their leader.
Well, I want to thank our spouses for staying. So there are no citizen comments? Okay. All right.
I'm going to try to make this in 3 minutes, okay?
Okay, why don't you wait just a sec? We're closing the door so we can hear you. And then will you get a form from Jan as well?
If I need to, I will do that. So you all know, I'm new. I've been here since 2017. I want to be actively involved in my community, but I have some complaints.
Could you give us your name and address first, please?
Lisa Jones, and I'm not going to give you exactly the address, but I will say 4600 South and 2nd East. First and foremost, I'm worried about my child and other people's children. They're driving too fast down that road. I took this to Jennifer. I talked to her on the phone, and then I talked to her in person, and I talked to her on the phone. This needs to be addressed. I'm begging you, as council and the mayor, to do something about this. My daughter's almost 14 years old, and she's been hit almost twice. And there's a lady that lives on my street that drives too fast, and I tell her to slow down, and she tells me, I won't say exactly what she says to me, but she's not nice. And I've called the police more than once on her. Something needs to be done. That's one complaint. Number 2 complaint is that empty lot is across the street from the Mormon church. I'm fearing for my safety and everybody around me. I've seen people doing drugs in that neighborhood. I've been clean almost 15 freaking years in December. I don't want to see this going down, but when I'm outside at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight, when I can't sleep, and I see people in that area, and I call the police acting like it's no big deal. Something needs to be done. I'm not saying this as I'm one voice, but I'm saying this for my whole neighborhood. Mostly me. Because I'm a clean, drug-free for almost 15 years. I wish I could show you proud of the reason why I'm clean. I have a 14-year-old daughter who's in Idaho right now. I'm begging you, city council and mayor, to do something about this. If not, I'm going to continue being here until you guys do something. Something needs to be done. I want to be actively in part of my community. I haven't been here long, but I want to do something. I'm originally from Midville. I'm friends with Joanne Sagini, and I know that's a touchy subject. And I know she's not in mayor anymore, but she's the one that got me actively involved in my community. Everywhere I've lived, I've been always part of that community. I want to make Murray my home, and I want to stay here. But I'm begging you, the council and mayor, and fellow neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Okay, we'll close citizen comment. Consent agenda, we have nothing scheduled. Public hearings, public hearing number 1. Public hearing to receive input with respect to an issuance of not more than $8.6 million of water and sewer revenue bonds, Series 2018, and any potential economic impact that the project to be financed with the proceeds of a Series 2018 bond issued may have on the private sector. Denise.
This is a requirement that we hear public comment regarding the issuance of this debt. We received good news this week. Danny Astle, the Public Works Director, has been working with the State Board of Water Resources. They have accepted our application for a low-interest loan for this debt issuance. This year they offered us terms of 25 years at 1%, which is pretty unheard of. So that's really great news for our water fund. Will allow us to stabilize the cash flow over that 25-year period to make these improvements. We'll be issuing about $8 million in debt. So it's less than our parameters resolution. Interest rate is less than our parameters resolution. However, they have extended it to 25 years. So this current public hearing will be based on a 20-year loan, but we will be coming back in August and asking you to extend that to 25 years. And in the meantime, the Board of Water Resources can do their work. Should you not extend to 25 years, the parameters will remain at 20. So either way, we're good, but having a 1% interest rate is lower than we could get from anywhere else on the public market. There will be no impact to the private sector with these improvements in that it's a public utility and provided by the government only. So we'll leave it open for public comment, following which you have a resolution that will acknowledge the fact that we held the public hearing. You have any questions or? Okay, I'll turn it over to the public.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that'd like to speak? Seeing none, consider a resolution acknowledging, well, first, is there anybody from the council? Consider a resolution acknowledging and the holding of a public hearing, receive public input with respect to the issuance of a Series 2018 bond and any potential economic impact the projects described herein to be financed with the proceeds of the Series 2018 bond may have on the private sector. Are there any questions? Okay, I'll take a motion.
I'll move that we approve, and I'm not going to go through all that because you said it twice, so I'm just going to say what on 9.1 on the public hearing to receive respect to the issuance of this 8,600,000 water and sewer revenue bond. Did I say the right amount?
Yeah.
Okay. Jan, you were kind of leaning over looking at me, so I thought.
I'll second.
Thank you. Having been moved and seconded, Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Public hearing number 2, consider an ordinance amending the city's fiscal year 2018-2019 budget. Denise.
This is an unusual item in that we did not prepare a budget for the Metro Narcotics Task Force. We were under the assumption that it would be taken over by another agency, but that agency has not been able to take over the responsibilities yet. So we did not prepare a budget normally as we would do, and we've been asked to continue to act as the host funding agency through December of 2018. So this budget is prepared based on the grant monies that we'll receive through Rocky Mountain HIDUS program. They will be issued straight to the DEA Metro Narcotics Task Force. We'll act as the fiduciary responsibility agency for the next 6 months while the transition occurs, and Salt Lake City should be putting this on their agenda and taking over hosting responsibilities at that point in time. Murray City has been acting as the host funding agency for over 20 years, doing all the financial activities and managing the DEA in general for that whole time. So we just felt like as an interlocal agency, it was time for another agency to take on those responsibilities. And we are in hopes that Salt Lake City will get it all done. So this budget amendment does not impact the city. No tax dollars are involved. The monies come from an outside grant. They pay the employees and they pay all of the activity that goes on with the Metro Narcotics Task Force DEA.
Thank you. Anybody from the public want to speak to this? Seeing none, we'll return to the council.
I'll move. Are we ready for a
We're ready.
motion? Okay. I'll move to adopt the ordinance amending the city's fiscal year 2018-2019 budget.
I'll second that.
Having been moved and second,
Aye.
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 aye. Public hearing number 3. Consider an ordinance vacating the public right-of-way referred to as Second Avenue located at approximately 55 South State Street, Murray City, Salt Lake County, State of Utah. Danny is still presenting. Intermountain Healthcare as a sponsor.
So this is part of the project from the Intermountain Transformation Gardner Transformation Center across the street. You've seen that building going up, and this was just part of the process, and all of the utilities now have been dealt with and relocated as needed, and so now we are here in a public hearing to ask for that to be vacated at this point in time.
Thank you. Anyone from the public wish to speak to this? Would you state your name and address, please?
Be happy to. My name's Tom Uriona. I'm here representing Intermountain Healthcare in the capacity of its corporate real estate director. My address is 36 South State Street, Salt Lake City. Just here to say thank you for your consideration of this ordinance. We're excited to finish the process of completing this project and clearing up the needed items to do that. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have, but I wanted to thank you all for your consideration of this ordinance.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll return to the council. Are there any questions?
I'm prepared to make a motion if you...
We're ready.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adopt an ordinance vacating the public right-of-way referred to as Second Avenue located at approximately 5000 South State Street, Murray City, Salt Lake County, State of Utah.
I'll second.
Having been moved and seconded, Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Public hearing number 4. Consider an ordinance declaring certain real property located approximately 6550 South 7th West Murray City, Salt Lake County, State of Utah as surplus. Danny is still presenting. Winwood Investments LC sponsor.
This is been a long process in coming with the development with Winwood Investments, or otherwise known as Garbett Homes, in their development of the piece of property near our well, our 700 West well. As part of that development, the plan is that we would eventually exchange property, and to do that, we need to declare this piece as identified in the information as surplus to make that happen. So that's what we're doing here. And you have that ordinance before you.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public wish to speak to this? Seeing none, I'll return it to the council. Are there any questions?
I thought it said on here, Danny still presenting, and I thought, why is that saying that? Oh, Danny still presenting. I really thought it said Danny still presenting. I thought, that was strange.
No, it's true.
It is true. I'll move to make a motion if you're ready, Chair.
I'm
Mr. Chair.
ready.
I move to approve to approve an ordinance declaring certain real property located at approximately 6550 South, 700 West, Murray City, Salt Lake County, State of Utah as surplus.
I'll second that.
Having been moved and seconded, Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. We have no unfinished business. New business. Consider a resolution approving and amendment to the interlocal agreement with the member entities of the Central Valley Water Reclamation. Danny is still presenting.
Apropos, right? All right, so this has been before you. The Central Valley Board has voted to adopt this amendment, and so we're coming back to the City Council to basically ratify that decision. And so you have that before you. Any questions?
If there are no questions, I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion we adopt the resolution approving an amendment to an interlocal agreement with member entities of the Central Valley Water Reclamation Facility.
I'll second.
Having been moved and seconded, Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Consider a resolution adopting 2018 biannual review of the general plan moderate income housing element. Danny Steele is not presenting. It's Tim Tingey.
Council, we've included all the attachments and information, including the resolution related to this item. This is a requirement of Utah State Code that we provide this biennial housing report. When we talk about what that is, it's a moderate income housing report, and if you take all of the household incomes in the city and the middle point of that, it's everything that's 80% of that middle point and less, which is the definition of moderate income housing in the state. And we're required to have this as part of our general plan and address how the city is handling or dealing with moderate income housing in our community. It includes an analysis of census data related to all of that and the housing components for our city. We provided all of that in a fillable form, which is required under state law and their processes to include that in their form. And so all of that is part of this. The great thing about this is we just did our general plan last year. We'd incorporated that into our general plan, so we don't have to redo that. And so we want to submit this to the state, and we're requesting your authorization and approval to do that. We're recommending approval of that report.
So Tim, how are we doing?
There are many things that we're doing well in addressing moderate income housing. We are providing moderate income housing and have approved projects in our community. We're going through processes as we go through a permit process to facilitate moderate income housing. It's a long-term process. It's not something that you're going to accomplish or even make a huge dent in the first year or two. But some of the policies that we already have in place address moderate income housing and are helping us adhere to what state code wants us to.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'm ready for a motion.
All right. I'll move to approve the resolution adopting the 2018 biennial review of the general plan moderate income housing element.
I'll second that.
Having been moved and seconded, Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, the mayor's report.
Let me first of all excuse Mayor Camp, who is on vacation in St. George with his family. I'm sure because of the heat, he's probably inside where there's air conditioning watching this meeting tonight.
Or in the pool. Hopefully in the pool.
I know you, like I, was impressed this evening with our firefighters as well as all of our employees, and appreciate our new fire chief, John Harris, his enthusiasm shows, and I think he will be great for that department as well as for our citizens. Just a couple of projects that are going on in the city to make you aware of. The city street department is mobilized today to put an overlay on Wood Circle, which is just one of those cul-de-sacs north of the Tosh. And the next project that they will be bidding out will be an overlay on 6600 South, which goes between 9th East and 13th East, and also gets onto the freeway there at I-215. So that'll be the next big project. Although the canal trail has been in use by the citizens for many months, the city officially took over the trail from the contractor this past week, and so we have placed garbage cans out there and just preparing now to take over the maintenance and management of that facility from the contractor. We appreciate the police bike patrols that have been up on the trail, canal trail, as well as throughout the city and on the Jordan River Parkway. They're making their presence known up there. The movie in the park this week will be at the Murray Park swimming pool, and this is always a very popular event because it is at the pool, so individuals that want to attend and watch the movie Finding Nemo will need to get tickets in advance, because that will certainly sell out. And then the popular food truck program, which has been in Murray Park on Tuesdays from noon until the evening, has been so popular that it's going to be extended through September. So that's been great for the food trucks as well as for the citizens that like to come down and enjoy the park. And then finally, speaking of the park, you have probably noticed or been on social media to see that the Murray Journal, the City Journal newspaper, is holding the Park Madness competition, and Murray Park just this weekend advanced to the Final Four, and we're competing right now against the Veterans Memorial Park in West Jordan City. So we encourage all of our citizens to go on and vote for Murray Park. Hopefully we can get to the national championship. So that's it.
It's pressure, I'll tell you. Kim Sorensen put a lot of pressure on me. I'll tell you that.
And we're
Sean,
doing
too.
well. We're doing well, Kim. So.
I know, I love it.
Any questions for the mayor?
You look better than I've ever seen you.
Okay, two things I'd like to say. First, I appreciate the bike patrols. I see them down on the parkway all the time, and they're doing a great job. And I went to the food trucks in the park last week, and it was good. It was fun. There were a lot of people there, so I recommend that. Having no more business, this meeting's adjourned.